Hey, what's happening, y'all? So, I just got off the phone with somebody, and we were just talking about they're getting ready to head on an interview. So I was giving them some tips, and I've been really on a journey of kind of like exploring personal brands and what goes into branding. I just kind of like enjoy individuals who talk about this stuff, and so I figured I might as well put this up with some of the information that I was sharing to him, especially since this is kind of like the work that I've done at my current job for the past few years. So one of the things when you're walking into the interview, don't, for one, just a couple of things. Don't go into the interview just to be interviewed. Okay. One of the things that I was telling him is that when you're on an interview, you're also interviewing that company. All right. So, and I think like when people understand that, it changes their confidence level because you no longer have to walk into the job or the potential job, let me say, and in front of those interviewers thinking to yourself, man, what am I going to say or what have you. If you can get to the point where you turn that interview into a dialogue and it's not just you sitting back answering questions, but it's become a conversation, a comfortable conversation, you're going to be on another level. And I think that's important because uh, if you when you can turn the conversation when you can turn the interview into a conversation, it makes the interviewer comfortable. And here's why you want the interviewer to be comfortable, because most interviewers, they're going to interview a bunch of different people who can probably do the job, get the job done. The thing that they are concerned about is at the end of the day, I have no idea who you really are. Okay? And so as much as is possible, I want you to prove to me that you are not going to be a risk to the company. So that being said, when you get that interviewer to be comfortable, in my opinion, that is when they start saying, hey, you know what? All things being equal, I feel like I'm comfortable with this person. I can relate to this particular individual. Okay. So here's some of the ways that that happens now. And this is what I was telling him is that one, your ability to articulate your thoughts clearly in the interview. Now, it being able to do the job is one skill. Being able to market yourself, brand yourself, and talk about your ability to do the job is a completely separate thing. And for most people who are going to get a job, you have to have the ability to do both. Okay, so what I was telling him is that when you go in there for the interview, some of the things that you need to consider is, all right, how are you articulating your thoughts? Like, we come from urban backgrounds and we can sound, and by urban, you know what I mean. But unfortunately, we still live in a world where you're going to be judged kind of from the outside looking in. All right. And so it has nothing to do with your character or what have you, but how you talk in the interview. Do you sound professional when you're articulating your thoughts? Also, if you're going for a customer service kind of position, are you able to be clear in your speaking? Are you able to give guidance? Do you sound confident? Do you sound competent? All right. All those things are important. So yeah, man, I just said let me just shoot that out there. Oh, and before I go, so one of the ways that you can turn the conversation into a dialogue and not just an interview is this: you gotta have questions, on really honest questions about the company. So what that means is that you should be researching the company in the first place, okay? And when I say researching, I'm talking about more than just, oh, I know what the company does, okay, and where it's located. That's not researching. You might want to see if you can figure out what the company structure is. You might want to figure out, is there anything late that recent in the news that has to do with that company? Do you know about some of the company's competitors? Okay. Do you know what are the the um the core values of the company? Okay. What are the what is the style of the company? How does the company brand itself? How does that company separate itself from the rest of the market? Okay, all of those things are going to be important if you plan on trying to land that job successfully, and not just land the job, but like literally position yourself ahead of the rest of the people that you're competing against for the job. Because don't forget, when you go in there for the job, it is a competition. We live in a world right now where it's easy for people to go and just click a button and send in their resume and application. And so imagine you might be going up against 500 other people. Your man, the hiring manager doesn't have time to sit there and try to figure out, like, man, I want to listen to every single one of these people in depth. No, they're trying to say, hey, how can I weed as many people out as possible until I only got a handful of people left, and those will be the handful of people that I actually give a real interview or a real chance to, potentially. Okay. So again, when you get to the interview, you've done your research, you go in there, you're asking questions, real questions. Okay. What does success look like for this position? So notice, these questions should not be about the benefit to me. You're not going there asking, hey, how much do you plan to pay me? Okay. You're not going in there asking questions that have to do with you. How much vacation time do I have? All right. All that stuff. No, you're asking questions that show that you have an interest in what the company is, who the company is, and what they're trying to do, and how you can be a part of solving the problem. So what you're talking about in there is, man, what are some of the challenges that you all are having right now? If I were to start working today, what could I immediately take off of your plate? In the first 90 days, what are you looking for from the person that is in this position? What has led to success for people who have been in this position or who are currently in this position? What are some of the things that have caused this position to people to not do well in this position? Okay. And then you can take it to another level as well. Okay. So how you can ask the hiring managers, how long have you all been working here, and what has your experience been like here at the company? Are there any challenges that you see at the company? Are there any things that you think are great at the company right now? Okay. They're not just interviewing you. Go in there and you interview them. Clearly, they are looking for somebody to fill a position, which means that they have a problem that needs to be solved, and you are positioning yourself as the person who could be the solution to that problem. But the same way that they're trying to make you work for it is the same way that you're going to make them work for it as well. Help them to prove to you. Now, I'm not saying be cocky, but help them to prove to you why you should work there as well. All right. So I hope that's helpful to somebody. Until next time, average is failure. Peace.